Okay, so this is kind of a sketchbook tour, I guess. I have like a whole backlog of sketchbooks that I've been wanting to make videos about for years now, and I haven't gotten around to it. So I guess that'll be content for another day. In the meantime, I'm just going to show you what I've been up to recently. So this is a sketchbook, or folder, would probably be a more accurate term for it, that I've been carrying around with me since the latter half of 2024. I did this drawing on here August, September, I don't even really remember. That's when I started carrying around this green folder. This creature is a lake lord, or at least what I used to call lake lords. I've sort of been gravitating away from that term for them. I haven't really come up with a better term for them yet, so I'm still using lake lord as a placeholder, but this is a creature that I've been playing with since high school. I've always loved dragons. I've always, especially sea dragons, but any kind of dragon has always piqued my interest. But this is like an original character for or a class of original characters for a fantasy world that I've been working and reworking in my head for many, many years now. This is sort of an attempt to draw them in more of a stylized, very inspired by Greek pottery and ancient artwork of several different types. But yeah, basically a sea monster. There's actually, this is their design, I think I said, I may have failed to say. Their design has changed a lot over the years. This is a 2019 version, which is still pretty close to the 2024 version. This was heavily inspired by a Greek vase of a Nereid riding Cetus, but with my own adaptations. This is a study of a walleye. I think that was 2018 or 2019. There's a mix of old and this is more recent. This was actually referenced from the live aquarium at Cabela's. They had bowfin. They had several different fish from our part of the country. I mean, they really found all over the country. But bowfin, walleye. They had some carp, and I think there was a couple. I think there was a crappie in there. But yeah, random sketches. So there's a lake lord. This is old and new. Some of this is old. This is I would call this new, fairly recent. This was from over the summer. These are water maids or water kind, water folk, more from more recent adaptations of the fantasy world in my head. These are semi-adversarial beings. There's a dwarf mule, which is basically the unicorns. The working idea I had for the dwarf mules is that they look like a regular mule, but then after so many years, they start to grow horns, and they start to basically become magical. And then here's working on the dwarf concept in this world. The dwarves also sort of sink. So like the water folk or the water kind, they're like mermaids. They don't have tails like mermaids. They have fully humanoid bodies, but they do live underwater, and they live in cold water, and they're cold-blooded, and they have, you know. But they also sort of embody some aspects of Gorgons. They embody some aspects of Amazons. They embody some aspects of vampires. They're kind of bloodthirsty, kind of just not friendly in most circumstances. And they, in the current incarnation, they ride in on the Lake Lords, and they're actually one of the cooler aspects of them is that they're one of the more beneficial oh my god, you ever just realize how dirty your fingernails are? I was finishing up or making progress on a generator install in the basement of a gas station yesterday. Apparently I need to scrub the dirt out from under my fingernails. Their beneficial aspect is that they're also the shepherds of the water. There are males. I haven't really drawn any. I haven't really figured out what I want the male ones to look like yet. The female ones just look like sort of dangerous, but some of them, I don't know. They're varied in appearance. They're not like, there's not like a set like. Anyway, yeah. Content warning: naked people, but nothing really obscene. No nipples, no genitalia. I like this one down here. I don't know. I just like exploring. I like this turtle, but they're sort of a, I don't know, birds, cormorant, an eagle, geese, bone harpoons, all kinds of stuff. I don't want to dwell too much on this. They're also the shepherdesses or shepherds of the water. So they're in the mythology of this world. When the salmon swim upstream in the fall, it's actually the water maids that are guiding them. The water maids keep salmon and other types of fish as people on land might keep sheep or goats in flocks. And so as the schools of fish move here and there, it's actually the water maids that are guiding them. And so they often are known to attack people fishing because they're essentially would view a human fishing from the shore of a river or the shore of a lake as a poacher. And here's another drawing. This one is from 2020, and oh my god, it's getting, look at that. I really got to frame this. I really got to find a permanent home for this, but I'm not ready to part with it. This is sort of my Harvest Moon possum. Look at those apples. Look at how awful they are. But I like this possum. I had a lot of fun drawing the possum. I had a lot of fun drawing the fur. This was marker with several different types of marker. With colored pencil and opaque ink in the form of gel pens and paint markers in order to build up the texture on the fur, which I was quite happy with. There's some samples of the stickers that I make. But yeah, there's enough on this. Let's not dwell on this because this is old news. I carry this with me still because I like to be able to, oh my gosh, here's a drawing I did in high school, actually, as an earlier incarnation of the Lake Lords, which were sort of in this version, they were the grandfathers of the dragons. So there's the winged serpent and dragon there was sort of an attempt to express that genealogy. This woman here is a representation of their moon spirit, who is not a bad character, but is sort of a chaotic character, and is sort of, I mean, there's like Eve, Judas sort of vibes, Pandora vibes. She's not necessarily evil, but she causes a lot of trouble. And she's also the reason that these creatures came into existence. I mean, I'll talk about this for a few minutes. I like this drawing. I mean, the facial anatomy is kind of what. But I mean, obviously I never finished this. I marked this down. There's actually a down here. 1:11 a.m. on 12/7/06. In those days, I was writing my dates. So this was actually July 12th of 06. I was writing my dates in international conventions because I like to try to fool people to think that I wasn't from the United States. I was a weirdo. I'm very proud to be an American. But I used to write everything in, like, UK spelling. I used to try to see if I could fool anyone. I don't think I did a very good job of that. But yeah, here's some Lord of the Rings fan art. There's Pippin. I did this one in 2016 or 2015. 2015? 2016? Hold on, I dated it. 2016. That's a later incarnation of my signature. I might have signed this later. I have more records on this piece. Luthien from around the same time. I just sort of drew a bust and then just like, well, I gotta finish this somehow. You can see how lazily I drew the mantle and her garments, but I was basically just wanted to draw a face. I'd gotten some new markers and I just wanted to draw a face and have fun with it. And so it's not terrible, but it's literally just a quick sketch. And then here's another Pippin. Pippin was my favorite character in Lord of the Rings. This was also from the same time period where I was sort of re-delving into Lord of the Rings. But this was supposed to be Pippin at the start of their journey. And so he's sort of like, I don't know, he just looks kind of like marginally prepared. Like, just sort of like, this is like the early chapters in the book, like, when they're leaving the Shire, Sam and Frodo and Pippin, and they're sort of cutting across the South Farthing, trying to get to Buckland, and they're just sort of like, la, 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 la. This is, yeah, sort of, they're helping Frodo move, because the official story was he was moving to Buckland to be closer to his relatives, before he actually left the Shire. So that was, the drawing was intended from that sort of part of the story. Let me put those back in here. I don't want to dwell on this right now. There's a couple other drawings from high school in here. Dragons. This is 2019 or 2018. That was a really prolific period for me of drawing. And, oh, here's a drawing of Finrod from the Silmarillion. Another drawing from high school. a raven with an ilf, which is kind of a halfling type of elf creature that I used to draw in my high school version of my fantasy head world. And Finrod, brother of Galadriel, son of Fing... Oh my god, I'm forgetting my elven genealogies. Finrod, son of... Not Fingolfin, the other brother. Oh my god, I'm terrible. And a Periton. This is actually a print. I have a pencil drawing of this exact Periton, the original pencil drawing, that I then scanned into the computer and then printed because I wanted to do several different color variations on it. This was a brown Periton, and he's got the antlers. Don't look at the antlers, they're terrible. This was also 2019. Raptor feet. Turkey/raptor feet. And the wings are actually sparrow, modeled after a sparrow, and then he's got muntjac tusks. And I was just imagining, so the Periton is supposed to be like a man-eating creature, and I just wanted it to be like kind of a, I don't know, I was really coming out of a dinosaur kick, so I was drawing a lot of dromaeosaurs and a lot of birds at that time, and I really just wanted to draw, I had drawn several Peritons, turkey, a Periton that combined a deer and a turkey. And this was a sketch. That was a photo that a friend of mine took that I used as a reference. There's some of the preliminary sketches for it. Oh, look, there's another. This is when I was still doing drawings for the Nature Sanctuary Society. That was a blue heron. That turned into a digital painting. And I don't know if I have my albino Periton in here. There was an albino Periton as part of that series. Oh, look, a hippogriff. Another drawing from high school. This was a zoo cosmic representation of my cat Nimby, who was polydactyl. I don't think I have the albino Periton. And that's fine. I need to move on. We'll talk about this later. I'm getting into old stuff, and I'm losing my window of opportunity to talk about newer stuff. So, put this away. I'll put my naked water people away. Put this away. And I spilled my coffee. Great. So I made a sketchbook over Christmas weekend. I needed to buy a new sketchbook, and I've been seeing some cool videos on YouTube of people that were making like chunky sketchbooks, and I don't really want it to be one of those things that's like, you know, when you close it, it's like that, because I carry this with me wherever I go. It has to fit in my backpack. So keeping it streamlined is kind of important to me. So it's about this thick. It's going to get thicker because I am using this for some scrapbooking, collections of ephemera and whatnot. But yeah, I'll show you. So this book was hand bound. I took some sheets of paper. I folded them in half. They were longer sheets of paper, but folded them in half, stacked them. Then I drilled them, and then let's see if I can find the stitching. You can see the stitching here. I drilled holes through the stack of paper, and then I stitched it together with upholstery thread, so it would be extra strong. And it's, I'm going to call it strong, but it's a regular book. And then I made the binding out of cardboard. And then I cardboard, hot glue, and then I made a cloth cover for it out of scraps of denim. So we'll see here. You can actually see some of the, it's not the best. It's not, I made this. I said, I've seen books. I have a rough idea of how to make a book. I've never made a book before. I didn't watch any videos on YouTube or anything. I just sort of went for it. And it's going to be my sketchbook until I fill it up. So, it says corroded on there because I was trying to remember, how do you spell corroded? So I was trying to help a coworker write out a text. He basically asked, how do you spell corroded? I said, hold on a minute, I have to write this down. C-O-R-R-O-D-E-D. And then it says corroded. So I'm going to work on this. Is going to be, I'm sort of filling it up as I go. So this is what I used for, hey, Chimney. This is Chime. Chime is an orange boy that I found on the side of the road. He is 10 years old now. Soon to be 11. He'll be 11 in April. He's got a spiked collar because he's a punk rock cat. General sweetheart. Very food motivated. So some of this is scraps of paper and tape and holographic foil that I taped onto this. This was my Christmas card from this year. This is a drawing that I did in 2020, and the original was given away as a gift. And then I cropped it and made greeting cards out of it. I used to have a small greeting card business when I worked at the laundromat in town. And I also did craft fairs here and there, but I haven't really had time to do any of that. And trying to make a business out of art, out of the art that you do, just doesn't, I find it frustrating, challenging. It takes too much time away from the actual creation of art. So I wasn't actually making a lot of art when I tried to monetize my art. And I didn't like that. I made this is obviously not my own drawing. But I did do a little bit of playing around in Fire Alpaca when last week I dropped my impact while I was hooking a house up to power. An impact driver is a tool, if you don't know, for drilling but screwing and fastening in stuff. You can also use it with Allen keys. I was using my Allen keys in my impact to hook a house back up to power. We were doing a service and a generator install. I was hooking the house back up to power. We were using Polaris connectors. So I was using my impact to tighten down the lugs on the Polaris connector, and then I dropped my impact onto the customer's driveway, and then my impact stopped working. So it's a Makita impact. That's what it looks like. And I drew Kino Makoto from Sailor Moon, who has the power of electricity, as an electrician using a, well, I don't know if she's as an electrician, but she's got a Makita impact. So I turned the Makita logo into Makoto. And then I don't speak Japanese, but I tried my best to say Kino Makoto Jupiter Soldier. If that's accurate, yay. If not, then never mind, disregard. Random scraps of holographic tape. I love holographic shit. I love this pearlescent, opalescent foil. This is old. This is like from the 90s. This has been kicking around since I was a kid. And I had some scraps of it, and I decided to not waste it because it's beautiful. This is a business card from where my mom used to work when she was a cosmetics rep. And this was the first drawing that I did in my sketchbook. Seeking God, although in ignorance. Really lousy bubble lettering, but it was very haphazardly drawn in. That's a line from W.M. Westerly. The book is called Immortality in the Unseen World, which I've been listening to on LibriVox. And it's basically a treatise on early Semitic angelology and demonology. And I forget, there was, I think it was a line from the Bible. I forget exactly who it's attributed to, but the quote stuck out to me, so I wrote it down. And then I was just drawing random squares, which looked to me like eyes. I was thinking of watchers. I was thinking of angels. I was thinking of panpsychism. I was thinking of the idea that the whole universe is conscious, and it's all reporting back to some source energy on everything that we do. And then I was just imagining seagulls, and seagulls are everywhere. And so I drew a seagull. It's a very cartoonish, kind of a cute one. I was thinking this might have some potential for a sticker. But I realized as I was drawing this that, okay, they have an eye, and that the markings on their beak, this is a ring-billed gull, a very simplified drawing of a ring-billed gull, but their beak actually kind of looks like an eye too. So then eyes, beak, eye, and then the spots on their wings, you can see I use the same motif as their eye to make. So my thought is maybe if a group of these guys are singing together, from a distance, it looks like a bunch of eyes, and maybe that's part of the way that it makes it harder to tell one seagull from another, which makes it harder for them to be got by predators. And I was just sort of imagining sort of like a crass angel, like I got all this Deadpool seagull angel, crass angel, anti-hero seagull angel, cigarette smoking seagull angel. And I was just imagining like a creature of God who's here to maybe guide and advise and help, but he maybe does it in sort of not the kindest or most. He's just kind of, I don't know. I just imagine like an angel with sort of like a Deadpool sense of humor. And here's the reverse of the page. Random ephemera. This was a print of a drawing that I made as a Christmas gift for a friend this year who is very into fishing. This is a walleye. I like walleye. Walleye are one of the inspirations, one of the real life inspirations for creatures like this that I draw. So you can see the spiny, this is very inspired by a walleye. But you also, like, this is kind of inspired by a beta fish. But yeah, walleye, dragon, essentially. This is not the best. I'm not that happy with this, but I think he liked it, so I'm happy. I needed to make, and then this was a fruitcake. I had a friend over for the first time in years. I had a friend over, and she brought a fruitcake that she regifted it because she got a fruitcake for Christmas, and she's like, I've never had fruitcake, and I don't know if I like this, so I'm gonna bring this and regift it because that's what they always do in movies, and I love fruitcake, so I'm like, oh my gosh! So I had to save the wrapper and tape it in here. Random stickers from devices that we installed. This was from we installed some arc fault breakers on a generator install that week, and those were stickers from the new arc faults. Goats! I like this goat. This was drawn from photo reference. I think I swiped from Wikipedia. This was swiped from an ad that I saw on Twitter for, I forget the name of the account, but January 2nd. This is an important date to me because this is the day that my godmother was born. This is also the date that my dog Thumper was born, who was one of the most transformative canine relationships I've ever had. And this is also the day that my dad died. So this was the day that we started the gas station generator install. Was 1/2/25, and then so these drawings were circa around that day. I was adding to it. So this page evolved from 1/2 to 1/5. Fairy goat mother. I was thinking of my godmother. I was thinking of my dad. My dad was also a Capricorn, but he died in the season of Capricorn, but he was born on December 27th. So, anyway, I was thinking about my dad. I was thinking about my godmother. I was thinking about my dog, and I was also thinking about the general season, and I was thinking about just the work that we do today. So there's the planet Saturn. There's a lot of Saturn drawings, thinking about the planet Saturn. This was my sunrise sunset. Everyone kept asking me if it was a pride flag. And but no, it was supposed to be the colors of a sunset or a sunrise. My ruling planets are Venus and Mercury. So I think a lot about the morning and the evening stars, and so I sort of like to use this range of colors a lot in my work. So I was thinking about these colors, and then this was a sticker that came on a package that was delivered to the shop, and then this was I dropped my impact, and then I ordered a new refurbished one. This one came on the box. I'm going to try to fix my impact. The trigger is shot. That's what actually broke when I dropped it. So I have a new trigger on order. I'm going to see if I can repair it's no longer covered by warranty, but I'm going to see if I can repair my impact and maybe have a spare one to have on hand. But anyway, I was drawing it, and I was thinking about, can I make get some impact foam or something and make a cover for it? It wouldn't really work because it would be difficult. But I think I might be able to get some foam sheets and maybe glue some extra foam to the top and maybe to the sides just to give it a little extra cushioning in the event of a drop, which is inevitably going to happen because when you work on ladders, unfortunately, once in a while you drop things. Teeth. This was a shop day. We had a very unproductive day at the shop because both jobs for that day canceled, so we had nowhere to send anybody. So we hung out in the shop and ate pizza, and I did some drawing. We had another shop day this week because we had only one job on the schedule and there wasn't enough things to send people to. So I did some drawing on this page across those 2 days. So what was it? 1, 6 through 9. Dragon is kind of meh, not my best. Face is not the best page. Planet Saturn. I had an idea to draw. So I'm trying to... like these squares. Wait, hold on. Where are the squares? draw cubes. They're very bad. But just drawing, I struggle with basic geometries. So I said, just draw geometry. Draw planets as exercise balls. So these are my exercise balls for the day. And then I drew a color gradient, custom ballistics gel dummies. And there's a painting of Saturn that I did. Not the best, but I kind of like it.